Hello everyone, welcome back. And in the video, in this tutorial series we are learning the Kinter module of Python to make Geo application. And in this video we will be seeing about some polling radio buttons and the check buttons, that how you can check your button and how you can make a radio type button in your application and make it selected. So if you're watching this video, then hit the like button, do subscribe channel and comment below. So by commenting you, I will recognize you that you guys are watching our video and following the playlist too. So watch the video. So in the previous video we have seen about the entry widget, in which we were entering some values into the entry box, and after clicking over the button we get the value into a message box. Okay, so this was the whole widget, used widget and the button widget too, and into the window. So and in this video we will be saying about the radio button, that what is radio button, why do we use, and where it get used into your window. So first of all, let me tell you something about the radio button. So in the radio button, basically radio button is a standard Kinter widget used to implement one of many selections. Like if you want to select one item at a time, so then you have to use radio button, you have to use check button at a time. So radio button can contain text or images, and you can associate a Python function or method with each button. Like I have already told you, using the command method you can associate a Python function. That's why after clicking on that image or anything, you will be redirecting somewhere, you will be showing some type of operations into that part of the function, that when the button is pressed, so automatically calls that function or method and you get the value. Okay, so basically if you talk about the syntax of that radio button, so first of all let me create a Python file here that you could get the base window of your application. So let me get a Python file and I'm going to name it as Python Kinter 12. And first of all we have to create the base window of your Python application, then you can start anymore. So I'm not going to copy, I'm going to write. So I'm going to write from Kinter import star. Okay, from Kinter, okay, import star, then creating the base window, that what we were doing into the every video. So creating the base window, okay, right there, and window dot taking things into the loop, and when you run it you get the base window of your application. Okay, like this. So let me give some titles and geometry. So I'm writing window dot title. Okay, so title as radio buttons. Okay, and the geometry, sorry, okay, I'm pressing the num lock. Okay, window dot geometry will be, so what the size of your value you want. So I'm writing the 544 cross 344. So you can write whatever you want, and when you run this application you get the screen size. And let me tell you about the radio button. So basically if you talk about the radio button, so radio button, basically a radio button widget provide a single item, that already been told you, and where a number of radio buttons are grouped together, the user may only select any one at a time. That this thing I have already been told you in the previous minutes. So with Kinter, radio button objects are grouped together when they nominate the same control variable object to assign a value to upon selection. Okay, so an empty string variable object can be created for this purpose using the string var constructor, or any empty integer variable object using the int var constructor. So I'm going to elaborate more about these constructors, like string var, int var, what type of data type do you want. So a radio button object is created by specifying 4 arguments to a radio button. So I'm going to tell you each of them line by line. So watch the video and connect with the video. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all I'm going to create a label tag that you could see over your screen. So let me create a table tag here. So yeah, label tag. So label label tag, and in the parent I'm writing window comma text is equal to you are in radio buttons. Okay, and dot pack. Let me write the right word here. So yeah, when you run it, you get the value. And in the below section of your these, I'm going to create some radio buttons over there. So before creating radio button, let me clear about the what is constructor here. So basically constructor is used to store your values, what the radio button will return. Like you will, if you select the first value of radio button, then radio button has some values which will be stored into your that string var variable type variable. So this is a type of constructor which you made inside your window, and then that value get stored into that string var. So that's why you using your get function, you get the value which is stored into that variable. So let me create, like I want to create a variable like store. Okay, I'm like store, and the constructor will be of string type, because I am here creating a string type variable because I want to give some string type values. So here, and the radio buttons, like I want to create a radio button, radio 1. Okay, and a radio button like this. And to create radio button, you need to give some arguments to it. So the first argument always will be the root, so the window here, and the second argument, so name of the parent container such as the frame, and the window and the root 2, that what you want has given the variable. So second will be the text pair. So basically text for display label specified as a text, means what you want to display at the place of your radio button. Like I want to design like school student name. So like the first name of the student is Raghav. Okay, so I'm taking it as Raghav. And the third argument will be, so third argument will be the control variable, means where your values are getting stored. So I am writing a variable as store. So my values basically are storing into the variable store. And the third argument will be the value pair, means the value to be assigned specified as a value. Okay, so I'm giving a value. So basically a value argument can be anything, that whatever you want. So like I am going to value it as the parent of Raghav. So the parent of Raghav will be like Mohan. So Mohan is the parent of Raghav. So I am writing the value. So you can use any values, that what this value will be stored into that store. Like you have to this is mandatory thing, that what the value you are giving to this variable, so this argument, so this value will be stored into that variable store here. So you have to be confident here about this funda. Okay, so I'm going to copy all these things. So I'm going to create 4 radio buttons. So one radio button here, I'm changing the name of each and every, and changing the name like Raghav, Ram, Sheila, Mohini. Okay, so I'm going to write the father of this name Mohan. So I'm going to mother Shita. Okay, and Kavya, mother's name, and the father's name Shohan. Okay, so here, so values are given here. So I'm going to make it the side is equal to values. So I'm pressing it at left side. Let me copy it and place it in the every pack. Okay, so I'm going to pack it here, in the pack argument here, and in the pack argument here too. So everything look like same. So let me tell you about one option here. So let me set a default value, like I want to set a default value here of set, like I want to set a default value like radio. I'm going to set a radio. So radio will be a default value of your store variable, string var variable. And let me run it, and not debugging what I'm doing. So when you run it, what do you get? You get the values like this. When you select this, when you select Raghav, yeah, Raghav is selecting. When you selecting Ram, then Ram is selecting. When you select Sheila, Mohini is selecting, and all. So I'm going to write a function here. So I'm going to write a command function that will run at that time. So what not here, I'm going to create a button here. Let me create a button first here. So let me create a button below this. So btn is equal to button. Okay, so button, and in button the base window and the text will be click. Okay, click, and let me write the red wording here. So click, and the next will be the command option, what will be doing at the place. So I'm going to write the name. So writing the name of the function here as school, I'm writing, you can write whatever you want, and packing the button here. And let's create a function over that school. Okay, and in this function I'm going to write doing a message box like functionality. So I'm going to copy this here and importing the message box and making a message box. So box dot, like I'm going to show information only. In first argument I'm going to title, so title will be as parent name. Okay, so I'm going to display the parent name of student. So write using the f string. So I'm going to use the f string here. So name of the student, the parent. Okay, the parent is basically into the f string, we write like this. So we'll be doing, so values are stored into the variable store. So where is I'm getting the all the values what inside basically into that. So get, okay, all this, and I'm going to use this method to default select that. I have already been told you about this. You can use it as this will be not working here at because I am not going to use this method into the one liner pack. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to copy this and writing it as, so I'm going to write it as a radio button 1. So I'm going to default select the I'm going to default select, so I'm going to write it as default radio button 1 dot pack. Okay, so write it as and closing the braces and deselecting it from here, and when you run it you guys see that everything is doing as I had written. So you guys are seeing that the Drago is defaultly selected here and RAM not RAM. When you click on the every button and which item you will be selecting, it will be selecting as your mood. Okay, so I'm going to select Raghav and click. So the father of the parent name of the Raghav is Mohan, the parent name of Ram is Sita, and the parent name of Sheila is Kavya, and the parent name of Mohini is Sohan. So yeah, you guys know that how these things are happening, and let me give you a quick recap of this. So basically what we did, we had created a root window, we imported the files like message box and the Kinter module from Python, and created a base window and giving a title as radio button and geometry, set a geometry. In created function we'll be talking about the function later. So creating a label tag which is displaying over your base window, and create a constructor variable. Constructor basic variable here is basically used to store the values, which values are given here into your radio button, and that these are in the form of string, that we are the string var, and if this in the form of string, so we will be doing it as int var. So we can use the int var type here also. So int var, okay, you can use int var, string var, whatever do you want. So this is a type of string, that's why I had used the string var. And store to set a default value as radio, and in the radio button we have created a full radio button with text Kavya, that's what is displaying after into the B side, left side, so right side of your radio button, and the variable these values are storing into that variable, that's why the variable is stored here, and the values are getting stored into that variable is Mohan, and these are doing same as in these 4 buttons, and created a button here and text as click, and the command school, that what it is doing into the function. So we have created the function here. In function we are showing information using the box module. So in the title we are given the parent name, and using the f string we are showing the description of that box, so info box. So in this variable, in this description we are getting the values which is being stored into your store constructor variable. So to get the values from your constructor variable, you have to use the get function here. So this is all about the your radio button. And let me create a new file to give you a recap, not recap, give you total description about your check button. So to know about the check button, let me create a new file here. So this will be this file will be your 12.1 that I'm going to create in here later. So talking about the checking boxes here, so in checkboxes we are going to create a new file here. So that is creating new and creating Python file and writing Kinter 12.1. okay, so this will be a checking box one. Let me write a comment here. So that is check boxes, okay, that you could know about. Sorry, okay, checking boxes. So next will be, we are going to importing as same we had did before. So let me copy this over here and like this. So let me give a quick review about that, what is checking box, check buttons. So this is basically a check buttons type things. So basically what happens, a check button widget provides a single item in an application that the user may select at a time, and where a number of check buttons appear together, the user may select one or more items in checkboxes, and in radio buttons one at a time. So check buttons objects nominate an individual control variable object to assign a value to whether the checked or unchecked. So an empty string variable, we are using the constructor variable here too. So an empty string variable object can be created or this using the string var constructor. I had already told you about these things. So an empty integer variable int var constructor. So a check button object is created by specifying 5 arguments to a check button as the previous rolling buttons. Let me give you a hot tip about a radio button basically. So as a radio button object has a deselect method too, and select and deselect method you can use in you deselect in the code and send me the code in the comment box. So that can be used to cancel a selection programmatically, okay, and you have to write in the list of your be aware. The second, you cannot use a regular variable store variable assigned from a radio button selected, like it must be an object at that time. Okay, so this is all about, and let me give a recap about your buttons. So radio buttons are basically a single item application that user may select at a time. So this type of functionality, if you want to use, then you can use radio buttons, and if you want to select two buttons, two checkboxes at two things at a time, then you have to use the checkboxes here. So this is all about the checkboxes. Let me use the checkboxes here. So in the checkboxes, basically in the checkbox widget, there the syntax is basically like there are two arguments, like master argument as your base window, and the second argument will be all the options that you are going to use in your button. So in the check button widget is a standard Kinter widget that is used to implement on and off like selections method. So check button can be contain text or image, whatever you want at a time at that time. So when the button is pressed, Kinter calls that function or method at that time using the command argument. So parameter as your window, and the options. Option means there are many options which are available, and they can be used as a key value pair separated by the commas. And in the parameter in the base window is used to represent the parent window at that time. So like the arguments, or you can use like active background, active foreground, okay, active background, foreground, background. So the another option, that is bitmap. So this is option used to display a monochrome image on your button. You can show like BD for border, command, and I already told you cursor, that what type of cursor you want to cursor, yes or no. So disable foreground, font, foreground, height, and these things justify that what it will be in center, left or right. You can use justify in your widget here to just like you use your side in your pack widget. Similarly you can use you justify in your widgets, and off value, on value, these type of things, pad x, pad y, okay. State is very important, like what the state do you want, like inactive or deactive. Let me tell you about this state here. So like I'm going to create a main loop, window.main loop, and let me create a button here. So like button is equal to button, and the base as a window, and the text will be hello. Okay, hello, I want to display the text, and when you make it as state. Okay, so state is equal to, so there are only one option like disabled and active. Okay, so I'm writing at disabled. Okay, I'm choosing disabled and packing the button. Okay, no, it's not a pack, it's pack there. So basically it a pack. And okay, so when I right click on this button, you could see that you cannot select, you cannot click over the button. Okay, and when you make that disable is equal to active, and when you click over that button, you see that you are able to click, you see that you are able to click over the hello button here, and you will write the disabled state here, then you will not be able to click on that button. So basically I'm going to remove this button and creating a check button here. So basically what I'm going to is, I'm going to use frame here. You can use frame here, because I'm using frame because you could be revising your frame button frame in this video. And to create a frame, just write the frame here and give the window as parent, and you can give the other argument that whatever and whatever we want. That I'm going to write the frame, I'm going to use the one argument as a parent window also. And there's some check buttons here, so I'm going to create 3 variables here that could be storing your int var type values. So I'm going control D here, control D to copy the line below, and in there nothing in the argument here. I'm going to make some check button, so make the check button. Okay, so just write check button here. Okay, and your check button will be created there after packing your check button. And I'm going to create some box here, write some box. Book will be as your frame, the parent window, and your next will be your text. That's what the text you want to display. I'm going to text as HTML5, the book HTML5 here. And the next will be your variable, like in the variable your value will be saving at that time. So variable will be var1 here, and the next will be your your on value. So basically we are using the on value, means your button 1 will be selected at a time, so 1. And your off value, that your button, if the another one is selected, then your button this will be deselected at that so time. So the off value will be 0 here, means this is not selected. And I'm going to pack this button, so let me pack it later. So creating another books below, so name it as book 2, and this is as book 3, and I'm changing the name of the book, like this is a book of CSS, the front end part of your web development. So that is HTML, CSS and JavaScript here. So the value is storing into the variable 2, and in this variable 3 here, let me change the name it also here. So okay, so like this, so the on will be at there, and all the things are there. And next, to add a function to display a check button selection, the function here will be, let me create a function. So before creating function, let me create a button there. So btn is equal to button there, and button will be also be in the frame, and your text of the button will be like click only. And the next will be your command. I want to write like dialog. Okay, dialog, and we'll be packing these things or later, then creating a function above of frame, describing frame. So I'm going to refer describing the function later, function sorry here, and using the variable as str here. And so the string will be your choice. Okay, I'm going to write your choice here. And the next will be, we will be getting the all the values from your application, we're getting from your constructor variables. So that is your var1, var2 and var3. So to make a one time selected option at a time, so we'll be using the if functionality here. So if is basically used to a conditional, this is a conditional type thing. So we'll be getting the values from your constructor variable, and if the value is saved 1, means the user had selected that value, like on value. So then we'll be doing as concatenating the things str and plus is equal to, we will be writing as basically slash n used to give a one line break up to there. So basically HTML, I'm writing HTML5 is a step easy markup language. So yeah, right there. So and the next will be, we will be doing as same as in the for all. So writing all the control D, and we'll be getting the values from the variable 2 and it is from there 3, and the value will be 1 in here all, and changing it as CSS. So basically shift CSS and removing that C here, and the second will be JS here. Okay, and what we will be doing next here, so we will be doing as box dot show info. In the show info option, we will be showing it as selection as a title, and the next will be str. Okay, when you will run it, you see the buttons are not here because we had not packed the buttons. So let me pack the buttons later here. So we will be first packing the button, btn dot pack. Okay, let me copy down all the things below. So I'm writing control D for all. I'm going to pack the first book 1. So book 1, and then book 2 here, and then book 3 here. Okay, book 3 here. I'm writing and the packing it back as the side of, I've already told you about the side and all. So right side of, and giving a paddx of 5. Okay, and your side it as left, and it also side is as left. So this will be equal to, so side is equal to basically left. Okay, so let me pack the frame. If you will not pack the frame, then everything will be not showing into your window because everything is packed into your frame basically. So packing the frame here and giving as argument as paddx, give it the paddx as whatever you want. I'm going to use it as 30 and pad y as 30, 32, like 40 what you want to give. I'm going to use 40 here. So when you run it, what you will see, you see the window and some check buttons here. When you check on HTML5 and click, what you will see, you see a box here, and what it is written, the title is a selection. Basically I'm going to check it. Your choice is HTML5 is an easy markup language. When you click on CSS, so you will be seeing there CSS is easy markup language. You click on JavaScript, so JavaScript is an easy markup language, saving and adding everything into your choices. So okay, so yeah, this is, so the off value is 0 and the on value is 1 here in every. So let me give you a hot tip also here. So a check button basically has a select and deselect methods here that can be used to turn the state of on or off. For example, like check one dot select. So I'm giving you it as a exercise that you will be writing and pasting your codes into your comments box, that I could know also. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and we will be covering more topics into the next video. Like in the next video we will be doing a school form like project, mini project, not a project, it is basically a type of exercise. So if you want to do that exercise, so watch the whole tutorial series and watch this video too, that you could know about that the radio buttons and check boxes that we will be covering into the next video, using these type of functionalities into the next video. So this is all about the check boxes and the radio button. So thanks for watching the video. We will be meeting next.